antifreeze in one. We got wheels. 6-lug Nissan Pathfinder wheels. These are the chrome ones. This is gonna really make this truck look good, better than these old hook caps and 14-inch tires. Got some good 15-inch 205, 65 ATL landers. Get these all cleaned up. We got a few little bad spots, but I think this came off the late 90s, early 2000s maybe, Pathfinder. So we got wheels for it. We got the center caps and lug nuts. Usually the center cap says Nissan in the middle. These don't. Lug nuts. So those will be going on as well. Back at ya, Nissan Mania. So the last video I did, I was just basically showing what all the parts we had that came in, and now it's time to really get to work. I didn't really want to break this up to a 3-4-ish maybe series, but there's so much to do and a lot of editing going on. I mean, late nights, so I didn't want to get into that. So I'm gonna try and keep it at least 3 to 4 parts. So this will be the 3rd part. Hopefully by the 4th part, maybe by the 3rd part, we'll have this thing running and driving and ready to go. But anyway, this carburetor was a booger to get off because of the nuts down here. You got these 12mm nuts, and the base of the carburetor is so low on top of the studs that you can't get the nuts really out unless you loosen them and kind of lift up on the carburetor, loosen them, lift up on the carburetor. The one on the back side over here wasn't even in there, so somebody's had this carburetor off before. I don't know if you can see it down there, but I just got it sitting over here. I haven't pulled it off. But we'll lift it off. That gasket looks good. What in the world is that? So this is some kind of spacer plate that we got to take off. This is glued to the carburetor, so we'll have to get that off and put it on the other carburetor. Let's make sure the other carburetor is going to blow up. I always want to test stuff before I get too far, because I know how this aftermarket world is. Will she fit? Something look right. should be the same base. Look like they didn't drill it wide enough. That's what I was saying about this aftermarket stuff. It's a little stiff going on there. Probably gonna have to drill the hole out a little bit. They didn't drill the holes out good enough. So what I can do, we'll take the gasket, this one's got some bad gas in it. Take that off of there and match it up. We're probably gonna have to drill the holes out on the other one. Seems like the base, oh man, it's gas pouring anyway. Seems like the base of this is a little bit narrower where they drill the holes out. This is so glued on there. So let me get that gasket piece off of there, special plate, and we'll line it up. So I was able to get this off. I'll put it up here to the carburetor. You can see those holes are lined up, that hole's lined up, but when you get to this one, it's off. Wish I had my light. It's off a smidget. Way off. So that means I'm gonna have to drill the base out. That's what it is about buying this aftermarket stuff these days, because sometimes they don't be what you think. And I don't think we can change that base. I really hate to take all that off because there's a lot of stuff connected to it. Yeah, I mean, these things got all kinds of little arms and springs and nah, we don't want to fool with that. So the option is gonna have to be to drill that out. So either that or send it back and wait for another week for it to come. But look like we got enough meat. If we did have to drill it out, we got enough meat where there's enough aluminum left. I don't know, let me do some thinking on that one. Because once you go drilling in it, kind of voids the warranty, maybe. I don't want to just destroy it, so let me do some figuring out on that one. Well, call it however you want to call it. I just went ahead and drilled through the base of the carburetor so that one hole will line up. I just took some bolts and bolted this spacer plate to it as tight as I can get it, and now the hole is straight through. It's a little bigger, but we'll put some sealant around it anyway. It's got a gasket that goes on top of it anyway. We'll replace that, and we should be good to go, because the lead time on another carburetor will be probably 3 to 4 days, and I really want to get this thing going. So just a little drilling action, and yeah, so it should go right on there. I'm gonna get some of these metal shavings, blow it off, and we'll get it set on there. So fingers crossed we don't have a vacuum leak, which we shouldn't. It only had 3 nuts holding the carburetor down anyway. this back one, which is the hardest one to get to, didn't even have a nut on the stud. So we'll make it work, guarantee it. Alright, so after about 2 hours of screwing around with this carburetor, I finally got it on there, got the hoses hooked up. I'm still going to have to find out what all those block vacuum lines and hoses, find out what they go to, but it's on, and now I'm going to go ahead and put the new plugs and wires and strip a cap and rotor button, and I got to go down and get some oil and oil filter for it. But like I said, I had to drill out the base of the carburetor, and it was a nightmare. I had to make a bunch of adjustments on that intake where the studs are. I had to kind of move them around, bend them a little bit, but hopefully we don't have no vacuum leaks. I did go ahead and put the little clear sight glass plate on the front of the carburetor, because this one didn't have one, so you can see how much gas is in it. And I got the choke hooked up, and this, whatever this sensor is on the side of the carburetor, I just snipped that other plug off, put some connectors on here, and hooked it to the original plug. I just cut that off the other carburetor. So got a new fuel line. What I'm probably going to do is take that back off, and when I get ready to mess with the fuel tank, I'm just going to let some good gas run through and blow all that bad gas out the fuel line, so it won't get into that new carburetor. But so yeah, now it's time to put on the new plugs and wires, strip cap, rotor button. Alright, got this thing in the air. I'm draining the gas tank. Good thing about these older import trucks, they all had drain screws on the gas tank where you can drain the gas out. And boy, it is funky brown, nasty old gas. Kind of coming out here, kind of thick, but I don't know how much gas is in it because the gas hand don't work, and sometimes they can be really full of gas, and those tanks can be very heavy getting out. So I'm gonna see how much I can drain out, and then if it just gets to where it's gonna take 2 days or so, I'll just go ahead and drop it, and we'll crack the top open, look down in there. Hopefully we don't need a gas tank. Hopefully we can just rinse it out and put the new sending unit some fresh gas and keep it moving. But if not, we're gonna have to get a new tank. This tank is kind of up under here. I don't know if you can see it. It runs down the side of the frame. It's got some brackets. Sits on some brackets, 12mm bolts. Yeah, that stuff's funky. My whole shop is going to be funky, but we got a lot of rain outside right now, thunderstorm, so I figured this would be the best time to go ahead and drain this tank. And like I said, here's the fuel pump. That hose right there that's cut, that's what started leaking when we first cranked it and sprayed bad gas everywhere. I'm gonna put all new hoses, new fuel filter, which that's the filter right there, and those hoses are dry rotted, but the fuel pump does work. We'll run some fresh gas through it, and what I'm gonna do is take the line loose back up at the carb and blow out all this old fuel out of this hose right here. So when we get ready to crank it, all that bad stuff won't go flying up to the new carburetor. So anyway, it looks like it's kind of slowing down a little bit. Like I said, I don't know how much gas is in it. This might take a while. it's not just really flowing out of there like I thought it would. It did at first, but I might just go ahead and just drop the tank anyway. I gotta do it. Let's see. That's the filler neck hose. It goes up there. So we gotta take them 2 rubber hoses off. And I'm thinking it's kind of a big gas tank. It don't look that big on the bottom. See, hoses running over to the top. A couple hoses there. So it's getting kind of funky in here, so I think I'm gonna put the drain screw back in it. We'll just go ahead and drop it. So I'm up under this thing. It's got a newer converter on it. That's not the factory one. Probably because we used to have inspection where they check your emissions. And if you watched the first video, the inspection paper for 2003 was laying up on the seat and it passed emissions. So they used to stick the thing in the tailpipe to check the carbon monoxide and all that stuff. So that's probably why they replaced that. It's got a good exhaust all the way from the front to the back. Let's see. The transmission, rear wheel drive transmission. Looks pretty good under here though. It's got surface rust everywhere. Here's the gas tank, like I was saying. It's got 4 bolts here that holds it, and it's sitting on top of this part of the frame. And then at the back here, there's 4 more bolts. We got 2 of them out, so basically the tank is just hanging by those 2. And we got the filler neck hoses undone. I had to cut a couple clamps. So thing is pretty neat. It's got good exhaust, like I was saying. There's some trailer wire. I didn't see that. It's wrapped up around the frame for your trailer lights. There's the original spare. There's a bunch of surface rust when it's sitting up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this gas tank out so we can crack it open and see how bad it is. Alright, let's crack open this gas tank. See what we got. The way it sounds, you can tell how a gas tank sounds if it's full of rust or bad gas. It don't have that hollow sound. It's got that like stuffy sound. This is probably rusted. Like we might get some PV. Something with a rounder tip. I don't want this to go off in the tank. But I'm suspecting that the tank is probably going to be screwed. It's not even moving, I don't think. Coming. splashing, PB blaster, and rust everywhere. Not a good combination. Yeah, that feels kind of gummy. There's the center unit. It's got some rust on it. Bad gas. Let's get a light. Oh yeah. It's got some, I don't know if y'all can see in there, it's got some bad gas all the way at the bottom, some scaly stuff. I think it might have had a full tank of gas. I wish you could see in there, but it's kind of, you might can get a glimpse of it. It's pretty scaly in there. It's pretty toasty. Oh yeah, some thick stuff. Real thick. I recommend putting a new tank in it. It's pretty bad. It's real bad. So I'm gonna look into getting a new gas tank. We got the sending unit already. Let's just make sure it's the same, because something looks different. That's what happens when you let them sit up with bad gas, because that one's kind of shaped different than the other one. It's got a different bend. It's got the one bend down towards the float, but this one's straighter, and that one's got like another bend to it. So I don't know if it's going to work or not. I'll have to do some more research. We don't have the wires on it, which you can put connectors on that. But we know for sure it needs a gas tank. I don't know if we can clean this sending unit up or not. Does it even move? Oh no, it's frozen. Hard as a rock. So I'm gonna look into getting a new gas tank for it. But like I said, that one is pretty toast inside. It's not even worth trying to clean out, because so much rust in there. And the way this tank is made, it's not even worth it. You probably can get a tank real cheap. So I'm gonna look into that, and we'll go from there. Might just be able to run it on a gas bottle, just to see how it runs with the new carburetor and plug wires and all that stuff while we're waiting on the gas tank to come in. And then when it should get in, we put the new tank up on it and be in business. Alright, so after getting the carburetor situated and getting the gas tank out, we got a new gas tank on order, and it should be here hopefully by next weekend. so we won't have to worry about fooling with the rusty tank. Made a boo-boo with the distributor cap and rotor button. So this is the correct rotor button and distributor cap. You see, it's an Import Direct, one of those O'Reilly brands. And this was the one I ordered from eBay, which was supposed to be the correct one for this year, but it wasn't. I didn't notice that this is the clip style distributor cap and rotor button, and this is the screw in type with the screws like this one. So we got to send that back. Hopefully we can send that back, get the money back. We got to worry about getting the right one. But since we needed it like yesterday, I went down and they had to get this from another store, but we got it. So now I can put the new distributor cap and rotor button and these spark plugs and spark plug wires on. So I got one of the wheels on, and this is the wheel that was on there, and look at that rust. Really bad rust. And I was going to put the center caps in, but these center caps don't fit. They're a little bit too wide. They're supposed to be the ones for these wheels, which it says, I don't know if you can see that, it says Nissan in there, but it don't even fit in the hole. I tried knocking it in with a rubber mallet, so these are the wrong center caps for this type of wheel. So we're going to put the wheels on it anyway, take those dry rotted ones off. So I think he said he was going to try and send those back and get the right center caps. We'll find some. So they had these wheels on the Pathfinder for a couple of years. So it's something about different diameter of the center. So we'll measure those and try to find the right ones. So I just put the regular lug nuts back on it because I don't know if he's going to send those back with the caps and get the money back or whatever. But anyway, we're going to put all four of these on there and make it look better than an old man cruiser with these Walmart style hubcaps, which the one was so rusted on there, it just literally broke in half when I took it off, and then that's where it was rusted. So anyway, so I'm gonna get the wheels, all four wheels on, change the oil, new oil filter while we got it in the air, and let it down, and we'll try to hook a gas bottle to the carburetor and see can we get it to run. Make sure that carburetor is good, even though that's an aftermarket carburetor. Make sure it's going to work. And if that pans out good, then we'll just wait on the gas tank to get in and get it back in, and should be able to take it for a drive. Well, we probably can take it for a drive with the gas bottle, but I really hate doing it on some of these cars because you have to kind of strap it down somewhere and make sure it don't fall over. But I don't know, we'll see. Probably just wait on the gas tank, and then we can put everything together and it'll be ready to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these wheels on, change the oil, let it down, do plugs and wires and cap, and we'll see if we can get this thing cranked with the new carburetor. Alright, so we got the oil change, we got all four wheels on it. Let's let it down and see how it sits. me myself, I like those Pathfinder wheels. I think they look pretty cool on these trucks. It gives it a custom look, even though they're just factory wheels. But I'll have to roll it out a little bit so you can see how it looks from the side. But I think it looks pretty cool. Better than them hubcaps. Grandma Walmart hubcaps. Yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. You can use some little lower profile ones in the front. Well, maybe truck's not. Went down a little bit. But the chrome really goes in with the chrome bumpers and the chrome trim that's on it. So I'll get it rolled out, we'll get a better look at it. But all in all, it looks good. So finally got the new correct distributor cap and rotor button. I'm putting the wires on, and while I was putting them on, I noticed that these wires are labeled for your exhaust and your intake. Can we zoom in on that? This one says E3, so that would be exhaust, because your exhaust is on this side. And then you got the other ones that's labeled, that's E1, so that'll be exhaust on this side. Let's see, that's E2. And then you got some that are labeled I. So the I will be for your intake. So that says I3. So that'll be on your intake side. So it was cool that AGK put these labels on there. So if you look at your cap, it's labeled the same, and then match the wires up with it. So like on your cap, you got I don't know if I can focus in on that. Your cap, you got E1, I2, E4. So it just goes around, and the two in the middle is for your coils. This thing has got double ignition coils, one there and one here. So, but you still have to put this cap on correct. So I basically just put the wires on the new cap, and while I had this cap on there, and then after I got them off, they were on the new cap. So now I'm just putting the new wires on. But that's neat how they labeled all these wires. I was looking at it, I was like, what does E mean and I mean? And like I say, so you can put the wires on the right spot. Now these cheapo wires you get from AutoZone, you see they don't have no labels on it. So you just basically have to put them on wherever they reach, or you know, lay them beside your old wires and match them. But these NGK ones are really nice. I think they're 8mm, and these are 7mm. So they're a little bit bigger, and I think they're gonna put more firepower to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish putting these wires on, and we'll get some gas to this old carburetor and see how she runs. And also, it's got fresh oil. Okay, so I got the electric fuel pump hooked up. We're going to see what this thing crank with the new carburetor. Hopefully that carburetor works out, and we don't have to send it back, even though I had to modify it. So let's hook up some gas here. We'll fill that bowl up. Man, that filled up fast. Alright, let's see what she cranked. battery lights on for some reason. I don't remember that was on before. Still kind of idle high. It sounds good though. Gotta find out why the battery lights on. I don't know if I knocked the plug off back there. I have to iron it out, okay. I don't know if the electric choke's working. I think I got it idle too low. Once I turned the choke off, it died on me. Dial it up some. I don't think the electric choke's working. So I guess I need to look at that alternator and see what's the deal with it, because I don't remember the battery light ever being on. Last time we cranked it, unless when I put the oil filter on, I accidentally knocked the wire off, but it seems to be unless the alternator didn't quit charging. It has these little fuse links over here by the battery. That's all connected. So for some reason we're not charging, and it might be the alternator. I need to get my voltmeter out and see if we got anything going to it. But that's strange. I don't remember the battery light being on. But that electric choke, it might not be getting enough voltage to it, but well, one reason why my connector came off. So I have to crimp that back on there. Let's see, that's going to the choke. Maybe I got the wire on backwards. I don't know what that little sensor's for. On the side of the carburetor. Let's just run 12 volts to it and see what the choke shut off now. That one wire was hot. Man, if I turn it off, we out of gas? Nope. The choke don't want to shut off, so it's got voltage going to it, but I don't know if you got to preset this. It's pretty hot, so it should be letting off. I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to just turn the little choke wheel until it just automatically opens up on its own, because it's staying halfway on, and then when I hold it and hit the throttle, you hear it idle down. I got it idle down too low, and it almost shut off, but I swapped these wires around and I had them hooked up the way they're supposed to go. But even just putting this straight 12 volts, I can feel the heat. This thing's supposed to be, when the voltage goes to it, it's got a spring inside, and that spring heats up, and it's supposed to coil and pull this arm where it opens that choke up. But for some reason it's not working. I should have just put the choke off the old carburetor on there like I said I was going to do in the first place, but this is supposed to be brand new. We shouldn't have to do all that. What I'm going to do is loosen these screws up and just manually turn the choke where it's fully wide open, and then we'll see how that works. I'm going to have to get a real short screwdriver. Let me see, can I dig up one? Running pretty good though. There's no smoke. There's no engine knocks. No, engine runs good. It just needed a good carburetor on it. So right now we're just going to manually open this choke up. And like I said, I got to find out why the battery light's on. This choke should still work. I mean, I can feel it heating up, so shouldn't be an issue because the alternator is not putting out. It's just funny how stuff just goes down at once. Can't see that screw. Bottom screw. There we go. Should be able to turn this. No, you can't see what I'm doing. It's kind of tight over in here. But what I did was I loosened these screws. I should be able to turn this to put more tension on that spring, so when the throttle opens, so we went that way with it, that's going to close it. That should open it up some. I don't know what this little sensor does on the side of the carburetor, but we're going to hook it back up. I mean, that's the way it came. My connector came off of it though. It was actually hooked like that. Maybe that'll stay on there. That sensor does, it might be a high speed idle sensor. I don't know. Have to do some research. How much gas I have? Plenty of gas. So let's crank it up now and see. sensor on the side. Won't ever open the choke all the way up. I don't want to run right. I got the auto scoop back all the way out. So either one or two things. I got a vacuum leak, or there's a vacuum line that's not hooked up somewhere. Well, it'll still be a vacuum leak. So I'm gonna have to hunt that down. It won't idle down. Even if I open the choke up and hold it with my hand, it starts idling rough. And it don't want to idle down. It sounds good. So I'm gonna have to do some digging. I don't know what this sensor on the side of the carburetor does. It's got this one wire going to it, but I know it kind of stumbles when I hook it up. So I'm gonna get something to spray around the base of that carburetor and see do I got a vacuum leak. I thought it was leaking gas from this sight glass plate, but it's actually leaking from up here where I got that flipped upside down. But the motor sounds good. I mean, it don't smoke, no knock. So just gotta work the bugs out of it and see why that alternator is not charging. So I'm gonna check that too. We might have a bad alternator. It's an enclosed alternator. I don't see how water could have got in it, but these things sit around, they build up condensation inside and rust, corrosion, so the alternator could just be bad. But I'm gonna check all that and then we'll see if we can get this thing where it idles smooth. So I tightened up the base of the carburetor and went around and cut off all the vacuum line and slid them back on every port. And this hose here was unhooked. It actually goes on the side of the carburetor. There's like some kind of diaphragm over there. On this carburetor here, it has this cover, and that hose actually goes on here. Something which are missing, I don't know the reason why that one didn't have it, but I just left it like it was. But I blocked it off, and you see it sitting here idling smooth. But I'm still having a charging issue. The battery light's still on, but I'm showing, you can see that, showing 1389, what's it supposed to be, 13.5? It's almost 14 volts, but the battery light is still on, so I don't know if there's an issue with that wire going into the alternator that turns the battery light on. But it's been sitting here running and it hasn't died. Like the battery's been drained. So I'm gonna put it in gear and see how it idles when I put it in gear. Sitting here running smooth. I'm gonna take another look at that alternator. See if there's a corroded wire on the backside of it, and see if we can see why that battery light's still on. So it's showing it's running about 13. I don't know if you can see that. When I give it gas, kicks on up there. 14 volts. So I took the connections loose on the alternator, cleaned them, and like I said, it's still the battery lights on. Let's get inside and give it some gas and see that the battery light cut off. It's kind of flickering a little bit. I'm definitely thinking there's something in that alternator. Crank back up. It's not running hot or anything. Fired right back up, but like I said, the battery light's on, so I definitely think it's something in the alternator that's keeping the battery light on. It should have a wire going to the alternator just for the battery light, and maybe there's a diode inside of it that's bad from it sitting around. But it's charging, so radio still don't work. But she ain't running hot, no oil light on. So let's see, put it in gear. Might need to dial it up just a tad, but I think it's gonna be all right. Headlights look bright, so I'll do that one. Reading like almost 13, that's with the lights on, but it's not down to 12. It's going to pull some power when you get the lights on. Turn it off and see. Probably run it. Maybe something inside the alternator loosen up. Now we're at 13. Throttle cable, hold up. That's a 14. There's something screwy going on with this alternator. See the battery light still on. So we'll figure that out. We'll get another alternator for it. I don't want them driving around with the battery light on. So we're gonna run it for now. So I'm gonna let it sit here and run for a minute and do some more checking around, and we'll wait on the gas tank to come in. Should be in by the end of this week. Then we'll get it in there, hook up the original fuel pump, flush out the lines first, and we're gonna take this baby for a cruise. But that engine runs real good. There's no kicks or not. Alright, well, I'm gonna do some more checking and shut it down right here for now. So the gas tank came a day earlier. Today is Wednesday. It was saying on the tracking for UPS it was going to come Thursday, but it actually got here today. So this is the new gas tank, spanking brand new, no rust. All thing you gotta do is put the hoses on it and the new sending unit, and put it back in the truck. I went and got some new hoses. I went and got, I didn't get the filler hose, it was still good. Got a new fuel filter, Duralast. What is that? FF341ODL. Wicks, Fram, same thing. It's just a double filter. With the end of the outlet close together, same thing. Those hoses are hard as a rock. So we're gonna put the new hoses on, the new sending unit, which I got, and we should be good to go. We'll get it back in the truck, fill up with some gas, flush out the fuel line coming from the fuel pump that's on the side of the frame. I flush that out before I hook it back to the carburetor, and this thing should be ready for a road trip on the streets once again. So let me get to work, because got a lot of stuff to change over. Alright, so the new gas tank is ready to go in. Replaced all the hoses. The sending unit, it had just those two little pegs sticking up and with nowhere to connect the wires, so I had to do my best to get the wires connected to it. I had to cut the harness off of this one. I don't know why they didn't have a harness made to it like the original one, but we got it on there best we can. Like I say, up under there, it's wrapped around those pegs really tight. I don't think it's going away. So we got new hoses. This is a just a breather return hose. So if you fill it up, I think too full, it runs down in here and goes into the tank. It's like an overflow tube. So I'm gonna cut it off. This is all I had. Got a new fuel line here, and all new fuel line there. So it's ready to go in. Got the truck in the air, and fixing to slide up under there. Throw it back in. Like I say, it's so tight up under there, I can't get the camera where I want it. So I'll just show you when I get in there. No big deal. So I'm gonna get to work on that and get that button up. So after getting all the new fuel line on the gas tank in, got it all tuned up, got the new carburetor on it, got the air filter back on it. Time to take this thing for a first drive. Like I said, it's been sitting up since 2003, I believe, according to the inspection paper that was on the seat. You can watch that in the first video. And we're gonna take her out and see how she drives. Make sure we don't have any mechanical issues. But other than that, this engine does run really good. A beat. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get on out here before it starts raining, because we got rain off and on today. So, and let's see what this little Nissan will do. All right, we're cruising. First time being drove since 2003, I believe, when the last inspections was on it. She rides like a mini truck. Got our gas gauge going, good temperature. Like I say, on the alternator, we're just gonna have to replace it. It's charging, but the battery light stays on. But it rides really good for a mini truck. I don't like, it's got this checker flag tint and you can't see through it. See, I can't even see out the back. It don't have a passenger side mirror, so it makes it impossible to see. I would peel that off. Do away with it. Maybe put some light tint, because you can't see through that. You're gonna end up having a wreck. Change lanes and come over on somebody. Test road. The spare tire is kind of loose. I don't know if you can hear that in the video. Without having power steering, takes time to get used to. No power steering. like I say, those little wheels, they look good on this truck. Those Pathfinder wheels. They brought it down a little bit. It looks like a lowrider almost. Little truck's quiet too. Those wheels look better than these. And those hideous hubcaps. But like I was saying, that checkered flag tint, that's not going to do it, because you can't see through it, especially when you're driving. So. One of them's about to go out. So we'll be replacing the headlight. I wonder if there's a horn work. Barely. It beeps a little bit. We got one boot. And that was it. Alright, well I'm gonna cruise around a little bit more. Got some rain clouds coming in. It's been raining off and on, so I had to pick and choose when I can get out to test drive this thing. But as you see, it does run good. It shifts out good, transmission. I think I got a leaky wheel cylinder. I just noticed on the back driver's side. Let's see if we can look under there. Seemed like I seen something up under the wheel. Oh yeah. I don't know if you can see that. See where it's wet. So I gotta replace the wheel cylinder. Might as well do both of them. I kind of felt the brakes kind of fading away a little bit that last turnaround, and yeah, it's got wheel cylinders. I mean, that's what you're going to expect from a truck that's been sitting so long. Those wheel cylinders always go bad, and still got to take this cover off. Clean this taillight lens. Just little small detail stuff, but all in all, little truck runs good, sounds good, looks good. We're having just a cheap paint job. So anyway, that's gonna be it for the Datsun 720. So y'all just keep looking out for some more goodies coming through. I've been trying to think of some more stuff to put on the channel, and starting to cool off outside now, so we can get out, find some stuff to bring back from the dead, I guess. More projects, so y'all just hang in there. I'm trying to find some more stuff to do. When you work on so much stuff as I do, and I mean, you start wondering what else could you do next? What could be better? What can bring in more subscribers, more content to the channel? So I'm always thinking about something, and I have a few people telling me some ideas about stuff, and a lot of people just buying stuff and they want it to be seen on YouTube. So some stuff I don't mind doing, but some stuff I do. Just depending on how big a project it is, because I got a lot of projects on my own. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here, and thank y'all for watching. Smash that like button. Always smash that subscribe button. Leave comments. Facebook, Instagram. That's where I am. Those other platforms, and we'll see you later. So y'all have a good one.